Okay, guys, so continuing on in section 10.4, there were two more examples I wanted to work for the radical equations, and I wanted to pick up with one like number 14. Number 14, you actually have a square root on both sides, but we're still going to do the same thing. You're going to square both sides of the equation. All right, the square root of k plus 7 squared, of course, is just k plus 7. The square root goes away. And the 3 square root of 2 squared, you can type that directly in your calculator if you want to. I actually already did it. Just be really careful when you type it in. When you type a square root, it automatically pops up a parenthesis. You're going to have to close out that parenthesis and then close out the parenthesis of the whole thing, you know, to show that it's squared. So you just kind of, it's 18. You might want to practice typing that in because it's easy to mess up. Let me just show you, for example. Like if you, let me see, hold on, let me do my squared button. See, that gave me 6, which is incorrect. So if you don't put those parentheses, it's not going to work. So here, watch what I did. Parentheses, 3, you've got your square root of 2, close off the square root of 2 parentheses, then close off your big parentheses, then squared. So you're going to have to be careful typing that in. So anyway, that's 18. Okay, and then of course it's easy after that. You just subtract over the 7 and you get 11 for your final answer. Okay, last one I want to work is one like number 16. Okay, so number 16, you have the square root of u plus 6 equals u. Okay, so the first thing I did was I squared both sides. The square root of u plus 6 squared is just u plus 6 equals, and then of course, you know, you just leave it as u squared. Well, at that point, you're going to have to, because it has a squared left in it, you're going to have to set it equal to 0. So I subtracted over the u and the 6, brought them over to the right-hand side. Okay, that left me 0 over here on the left. I factored out 3 times 2 is 6, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 in the middle. Set your parentheses equal to 0. You end up getting positive 3 and negative 2. Okay, again, you're going to have to check your answers here to see if they work. All right, so the original problem was the square root. Here, let me pull down so you can see this. The square root of u plus 6 equals u. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 3. Square root of 3 plus 6 equals 3. So plug in 3 wherever you have a u. That's the square root of 9 equals 3. Well, obviously that's, you know, that's true. So that u equals 3 is going to work there. Okay, let me check the 2. Square root of 2 plus 6 equals 2. Well, that's the square root of 8 equals 2, and, you know, obviously that's not right. So the, oh, I'm sorry, it was negative 2. My bad. The square root of negative 2, okay, so that's the square root of 4 equals negative 2. Okay, but it still doesn't work because the square root is not supposed to equal a negative. Okay, so that did not work. All right, so the answer ended up being 3. So just be really careful with all of these radical equations. You need to always check your answer to make sure that it works. All right, hope that helps.